Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are taking a seriously fascinating look at a curriculum that takes learning straight out of the classroom and literally into the dirt. We're exploring a grade 6 kitchen garden project chapter. And let me tell you, this isn't just about reading from a dusty textbook. It's a real, hands-on journey that turns agricultural theory into actual real-world action, teaching students science, math, and even a bit of economics along the way.
Okay, here's our quick roadmap. We're going to start with Welcome to Lifeforms, introduce the core kitchen garden project, and see exactly how students learn from the experts. Then, we get our hands dirty in the action phase, explore pricing the produce, and finally wrap it all up with reflection and future careers.
Section 1. Welcome to Lifeforms, exploring our living world.
So before anyone even picks up a trowel, the curriculum shifts focus to a really broad, foundational concept. Students head straight out into nature, interacting hands-on with biodiversity, studying plants, hunting for insects, and recording what they find. It makes it super clear that education here is absolutely active, not passive.
To ground all this active learning, the text gives us a very clear baseline. Life forms are defined as literally all living things on Earth. We're talking human beings, animals, birds, fish, plants, insects, and even bacteria and viruses. Establishing this huge concept up front helps students realize that when they grow a single plant, they're actually interacting with a massive, complex living ecosystem.
Section 2. The Kitchen Garden Project, growing food at school.
All right, this is where things get really specific. We're talking about the ultimate hands-on challenge, creating a vibrant, totally self-sustaining vegetable garden right there on the school campus. Students aren't just planting a little bean in a paper cup here. They're working together in actual plant beds and pots, taking real ownership of a living agricultural space.
Now, to make sure this isn't just an excuse to play in the mud, the curriculum outlines 5 very specific, actionable learning outcomes. By the time this project wraps up, students will be able to identify gardening tools, properly prepare the soil, plant and care for seeds, protect those precious plants using fencing and organic pesticides, and, the absolute best part, actually harvest the produce. It's a really comprehensive skills roadmap.
Section 3, Learning from the Experts, Gathering Intel.
You can't just throw seeds at the dirt and hope for the best, right? The curriculum pushes an active, inquiry-based mindset right out of the gate. It prompts students with direct questions to ask experts during field visits, like, which plants are actually being grown here? This teaches them to be observant and curious, basically formulating their thoughts before they even set foot on a real farm.
It's basically a structured reconnaissance mission. There is a super logical, step-by-step flow for gaining that first-hand agricultural intel. Step 1. They visit an actual agricultural farm, nursery, or orchard. Step 2. They prepare their list of questions ahead of time. Step 3. They actually interact with the farmer or gardener. And Step 4. They have to record the 2 most interesting things they learned. It is a brilliant blueprint for field research.
Crucially, though, the curriculum totally recognizes that modern research isn't just done out in the field. Students also have to turn to their computers. The text explicitly reminds them about internet safety while they're looking up information on plant nutrition and soil preparation. So they are learning digital literacy right alongside agricultural science, which is a fantastic touch.
Section 4. Getting your hands dirty, the action phase.
All right, intel gathered. Now theory finally meets the soil. The very first practical decision is figuring out exactly where to plant. The text gives 2 main options. First, we have plant beds, which use whatever land is available right on the school grounds. And then we have pots, which are perfect for schools with limited physical space. This means the whole project is completely adaptable to literally any school setting.
But to actually keep these little plants alive, students have to dive into a huge variety of hands-on math and science tasks. Just think about these essential garden care steps. They aren't just splashing a hose around. They're calculating the actual garden area, figuring out the precise proportions for mixing organic manure, engineering actual fencing with poles and strings, and figuring out the exact watering frequency and quantity based on the environment. It is incredibly cross-disciplinary.
Section 5, Pricing the Garden Produce, Math Meets Agriculture. And speaking of cross-disciplinary, this is such a surprising phase of the chapter where math meets agriculture, bringing in some real-world economics. To really understand value, the students head to a local vegetable market. They observe the actual real prices of different fruits and veggies, and they create a chart to track those numbers. It completely connects that little cabbage they grew in the schoolyard to the wider local economy.
Now sure, they could just donate their food to the school kitchen for lunchtime, but the text asks a completely brilliant question, which I'm going to toss right over to you. But what if you plan to sell the produce? I mean, really think about that for a second. How do you actually put a financial value on your own hard work and your own harvest?
Well, setting a price isn't just pulling a random number out of thin air. The students have to analyze some pretty complex variables. To find a fair price, they calculate the actual factors of cost. That means the cost of seeds or seedlings, the cost of soil amendments like manure, factoring in the tools and equipment, and hey, even the label costs. It's basically a foundational lesson in business and accounting, completely disguised as a gardening project.
Section 6, Reflection and Future Careers, the real-world value.
So the harvest is done, the produce is priced, but guess what? The learning is definitely not over. To evaluate this whole journey, the students are asked to create a timeline, mapping out exactly how many class periods they spent on each activity. This promotes some seriously deep reflection on their project management and time estimation skills. Like, did preparing the soil take way longer than you thought? Why? That is a vital skill for pretty much any future project they tackle.
And look, not every garden is a perfect success story, right? The textbook totally embraces that reality, asking, if your plants did not grow well, what should you do next time? I absolutely love this. It is such a powerful focus on learning from failure. It turns a withered, sad little plant into an invaluable lesson for the next planting season. It just builds true resilience.
To bring it all home, the curriculum explicitly connects the entire project to the real world. Let me just read this quote straight from the source. A few examples of jobs related to the activities that you did are farmer, gardener, agricultural scientist, mechanic for agricultural equipment. That right there underscores the true takeaway. This isn't just playing around in the dirt, it's foundational training that opens up students' eyes to some incredibly vital real-world professions. So, as we wrap up this explainer on a truly fantastic educational framework, I want to leave you with one final thought. If you were to start a kitchen garden tomorrow, what is the very first question you would ask an expert? Let that spark your own curiosity. Thanks for hanging out with me on this journey, and keep exploring.